The city of Los Angeles glittered at night like a field of stars. But in a penthouse above it all, Eliza Sterling felt like a caged bird. She was the only daughter of Jacob Sterling, a tech tycoon whose security concerns bordered on obsession. At 25, Eliza had lived a life of wealth, privilege, and control. Every move she made was monitored, every friend vetted, every party cut short by her father's ever-growing paranoia. So when her father introduced her to her new bodyguard, she rolled her eyes. "This is Damian Black, former Marine, Special Forces. He'll be with you from now on," her father said. "Wherever you go." Eliza raised an eyebrow. "So he's my babysitter?" Damian didn't flinch. His jaw was square, his eyes unreadable, and his presence towering. "Call me whatever you want," Damian said coolly. "But I'm the reason you'll stay alive." Eliza hated him at first. He didn't laugh at her jokes, didn't care about fashion, always wore black, always stood 5 feet behind her like a shadow. She tried to shake him by sneaking out the back door of her favorite nightclub. 5 minutes later, he was beside her. "You call that sneaking out?" he said, handing her her phone, which she didn't realize she'd dropped. They clashed constantly. But slowly, she noticed things. He never looked at her with lust, just alertness. He remembered how she liked her coffee. He noticed when her anxiety got bad and gave her space instead of advice. She began to trust him. Then, without meaning to, she began to like him. One night, after a charity gala, Eliza's car was followed. Damian's instincts kicked in. He pulled her into a service elevator, navigated a back alley, and got her home without a scratch. "That wasn't random," he said. "You're being targeted." Eliza's world tilted. Her father insisted on silence, but Damian wasn't the kind to wait. They began to dig. Together. A hacker friend of Eliza's helped them uncover a stunning revelation. Jacob Sterling's company had enemies. Dangerous ones. And now, they were coming after his daughter. They were on the run for a weekend, hiding in a safe house Damian once used in his military days. It was a tiny cabin in the Arizona desert, cut off from cell service. It was also the first time they were truly alone. "Why do you do this?" she asked him one night by the fireplace. "Because people die if I don't," he said, looking into the flames. "And what if you die?" she whispered. He turned to her, slowly. "Then I died doing the only thing I was ever good at." The kiss was soft, hesitant, like stepping into a storm. But once it started, there was no turning back. When they returned to LA, everything seemed quiet. Too quiet. Then Damian was arrested by federal agents, accused of kidnapping Eliza. Her father pressed charges. Eliza was stunned. She tried to fight it, but Damian disappeared into the system. 3 weeks passed. That's when the hitmen came. They stormed Eliza's penthouse at 2 a.m., masked and armed. She fought, screamed, ran. And just when a bullet was about to rip through her heart, Damian appeared. "Get down," he roared, shielding her with his body. 1 shot. 2, then silence. Damian collapsed on her, bleeding. "No, no, Damian, please," she sobbed, holding him. "You're safe," he murmured. "That's all I ever wanted." His eyes closed, and Eliza's world shattered. A week later, at the funeral, a man handed Eliza a USB drive. "Damian left this for you," he said, "in case something happened." Inside was a video. "If you're seeing this, I'm probably dead," Damian said on the screen. "But there are things you need to know." He revealed he was never just a bodyguard. He was investigating a mole inside her father's company. He found evidence that Jacob Sterling was being betrayed by his own business partner. He died protecting the truth. And her. Eliza went public with the information. The partner was arrested. Her father resigned from his company, guilt consuming him. Eliza started a foundation in Damian's name, offering protection and legal aid to victims of violence. But she never stopped loving him. Sometimes, when she walked alone on the beach, she'd feel the wind brush her cheek like a whisper. "You're safe now." Eliza tried to return to a normal life, but the silence Damian left behind was deafening. She often found herself staring at the last text he'd ever sent her. "Stay inside tonight. Something doesn't feel right." He knew. Somehow, he always knew. She visited his grave every Sunday, bringing black coffee the way he liked it, and reading passages from a book they'd once argued over. One morning, a letter was slipped under her door. No return address. You think Damien is dead. You're wrong. If you want the truth, come alone. Midnight. Pier 47. Her heart nearly stopped. Pier 47 was quiet, fog curling over the water like smoke. Eliza waited, heart pounding. A man emerged from the shadows. Tall, familiar gait, face hidden by a hoodie. Who are you? She demanded. He removed the hood. It was Damien. Alive. Bruised, scarred, but alive. She staggered forward, touching his face like she was afraid he'd vanish. You died. No. I made them believe I did. It was the only way to finish what I started. He had faked his death with help from the same underground contacts he used in the military. His wounds had been real, but not fatal. Damien explained that the mole inside her father's company wasn't acting alone. There was a deeper conspiracy tied to arms smuggling, tech espionage, and even a rogue federal agency. They were watching me. Watching you. I had to disappear to keep you alive. Together, they planned one final mission to expose the network, once and for all. With help from a journalist, a hacker, and one of Damien's ex-military contacts, they launched a digital leak that sent shockwaves through Washington and Silicon Valley. Names, documents, locations, all exposed. But there was a cost. The night before they were to disappear forever, they were ambushed. A team of mercenaries stormed their desert safe house. Eliza fought beside Damien this time, trained, determined, no longer a helpless billionaire's daughter. Bullets rained. Flames tore through the cabin. And then, silence. They survived, but barely. Eliza was wounded. Damien carried her out, whispering, "You're not allowed to die before I kiss you one last time." They kissed, blood and sweat mingling, while the cabin behind them exploded. A month later, the news called it the greatest corporate takedown in decades. Eliza Sterling was declared missing, presumed dead. Damien Black? Still a ghost in the system. In truth, they were living on a vineyard in Oregon under new names, free, but watching, waiting. Eliza ran a small foundation helping veterans and abused women. Damien worked security for a shelter, occasionally disappearing for classified favors to old allies. They were no longer just protector and heiress. They were partners, survivors, soulmates. 10 years later, Eliza sat on the porch, a little girl on her lap, and a baby boy sleeping in a crib nearby. She was writing a letter to her children. Your father once took a bullet for me. He sacrificed everything, and I thought I'd lost him. But I learned something important. Real love doesn't die in fire or bullets or betrayal. It hides. It waits. And when it returns, you never let go again. Damien stepped out with a coffee in hand. The same old black shirt. The same eyes that once shielded her from death. He smiled. Are you writing another story? She nodded. Our story.